you're going to be successful selling heating and air conditioning equipment, you got to be doing stuff completely different from what your competitors are doing. We've talked at length about the 95-5% rule. 5% of the competitors that you have are kicking your ass, and 95% are struggling to get by. And typically the 95% are doing the same kinds of marketing, doing the same kinds of things. And how are they marketing? Well, they're marketing their air conditioning systems based on price alone. Well, price is one factor when you're thinking about buying air conditioning, but there are another pile of factors that most homeowners aren't even aware of, and your job is to explain those to them. But first, you got to get in the door. If you're fortunate enough to get a lead, you need to get into the home and take friendly control of the situation, because they're expecting you just to come in, do a bunch of measurements, and write down a price and stick it on the table and walk out the door. You need to sit down with the homeowners and start building a relationship with them. You need to begin the process of asking them, how their existing system's been working and what kinds of things they liked about it, what kinds of things they didn't like about it. And one of the things that I recommend is you develop a survey, okay? You sit down and you have a survey that asks a number of questions like, how old is the house? How long have you been inside the home? How long have you been living here? Okay? How long do you plan to live here? That's an important question, because if you ask them up front how long they plan to live there, and they say, 10 more years or more, and at the end of this, if you ask for business and they say, well, we're selling in 3 years, then you can go back and I'm curious, it just says here that a little earlier I asked you how long you folks were planning on spending in the home, and you said you're going to be staying here for another 10 years, and now it's 3. What's happened during our time together today? So that's an important question to ask. You need to ask about their experience with other contractors. We need to ask them questions about what their budget is, all right? Maybe even questions about what the monthly payments are going to be. Yep, a lot of people are going to say, yeah, I'm not financing. Well, the fact of the matter is there's lots of really low interest financing that's available right now for home improvement, and that's stuff that you can explain to these folks. You also need to ask them, Bob and Betty, what criteria are you using in your decision on what company you are going to hire to do the work? And 90% of the time they always say, the one with the lowest price. Well, that's an entry point for you to explain to them that we're not buying a blender today. We're not buying a refrigerator that you plug into the wall. That the air conditioning system or the furnace is a complex mechanical system, okay, that absolutely has to be installed properly. And there's no way of knowing whether it's going to be installed properly based on price alone. So you need to investigate with the homeowner the things that matter the most to them. And you need to also explain to them the concept of risk. You have to share with them the fact that, look, there's a lot of bad work out there, and that the best thing to do is go into the process of investing in a system having a clearer understanding of all the other things that are involved, like the quality of the installation, indoor air quality. That might be something that would be very important. You should be including indoor air quality in all of your system designs anyway. You also need to explain to them the dangers associated with getting the wrong sized equipment, because the fact of the matter is, Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, the government, has already come out and said that about 80% of heating and air conditioning equipment in Canadian homes is not sized properly. The reason it's not sized properly is because people are buying from Chuck in a truck or Dan in a van, and he's selling you what he's got in the back of the truck. So if he's only got a 3-ton unit and they only need a 1.5-ton unit, they're going to put a 3-ton in, because Dan in a van doesn't have the buying power to get a warehouse full of all the different kinds of sizes. Now, step back for a second and think about what the top 5% are doing. Because I want to talk about price, okay? They're not giving the price out front. And one of the things that you know as well is that your top 5% companies, and these are companies that are usually part of a contractor group, or they might be part of a franchise, they're way more expensive than you are. And yet they're kicking your ass all over the place. People are buying from them way more than they're buying from you. Why is that? Why is that? Now, you might comfort yourself and say, well, they're just giving people a big sales pitch. Well, if that's what it takes for you to go to sleep at night, that's great. But maybe that sales pitch that those top 5% companies are using actually has some meaning to the buyers of the equipment. Okay? One of the things that the top 5% focus on is the value associated with doing business with their company, and also what that company is going to do to protect the homeowner if things go badly. In short, guarantees. You see, you're probably selling systems saying, well, it's got a 5-year, 10-year warranty from the manufacturer. Well, here's something that you need to be aware of. Warranties protect the manufacturer. Guarantees protect the consumer. Warranties always have a weasel clause. If you don't do this, we're not going to do that. Guarantees, on the other hand, are a written promise from a company to a homeowner, and they're actionable in court. So one of the things the top 5% are doing is they're putting guarantees on all of their systems. Okay? You ever thought about doing that for your company? Why not? It can't hurt. And at the end of the day, when they get in the home, they're asking for the business every single time. Chances are you're not. Chances are you're just dropping off bids. And if you're dropping off bids, we've discussed it before, you've got a less than 30% chance of earning their business. So it makes more sense to have a structured sales process, and it makes more sense to get a customer survey done so that you can use that information to build value in the client's mind, so that they are educated and they understand that this is a complex mechanical system and it's not something that's just going to get plugged into the wall. It has to be installed properly by professionals, and that your company is the only company in town that's going to do it right.